Hey team, excited to be with you this morning. I wanted to share a couple things with you today. It is all about how to help you get more Google reviews and have the referrals just pour in as a result. As before we can get started to that, I just want to ask a quick question. When you shop as your own as a consumer, and there's a couple of lead competitors in the race, you've done your research, you started to try and narrow it down to who you want to go with. What's your tiebreaker? Data actually shows that more often than not, it's reviews that plays a key factor in deciding who am I going to go with and why should I choose them over someone else. So I wanted you to be thinking about that and putting yourself in your customer's shoes, your prospect shoes, as we go through today, and really be able to help you stand out and win those neck and neck tiebreak races. So let's jump in a little bit and show a couple examples of how and why this matters. So here's a quick example. We did a little bit of a search for, let's just plug in a landscaping company in Dallas, Texas. You look at these three and which one are you going to choose? Yeah, you're going to pick the one that has no reviews or the one that has some 3.6 and not that many. Of course, you're going to pick the one that has the higher rating and then bigger number of reviews. One quick side note, one thing that's actually interesting is that data shows that more reviews with just a little bit less than a 5.0 rating is better than having a 5.0 rating and not quite as many. It just kind of feels more authentic. So as an example, I'd rather have 30 reviews with a 4.9 than 10 reviews with a 5.0. You can kind of see the reasons as to why that's the case. The other thing that's important as you look at reviews is having frequency matters. So getting reviews on a regular basis, and also recency. If the most recent review you've had is a year ago, it's not going to have as much credibility as to one that happened last week. And also, if you're getting a review maybe every 6 months versus every week, that's also going to play a factor into how people perceive the reviews that you have. So just a couple of key factors as you look at, not all review counts or ratings are created equal. So those are some of the other things you'll want to factor in and look at over time as you measure your program. So why is this important? What we find is that customers are really looking everywhere. And not only are they looking online, but they're also looking at multiple review sites. I mean, depending on the product or service or industry, some of them tend to lean more towards finding things other than Google. So, but whether that's just a perception of where they want to find things that are more authentic to their neighborhood or to their service, or again, we know that everybody looks to Google. So just some things to keep in mind is it's worth looking at. Again, not only where you show up there, or if you have reviews, or if your competitors have strong presence on other review platforms like Yelp or Nextdoor or some of the other places that are out there. So keep that in mind. So next, step one, really to help you set the groundwork for getting more Google reviews. That's really what we're going to focus on for the next little bit. Before you're going to start trying to request them and elicit them, let's make sure that your profile is optimized. So I'll give you a couple of key steps on how to optimize your Google business profile and walk you through how that gets done. So first thing, you just got to cover the basic information. So when you go to log in your profile, again, make sure you add a cover photo. It's something that a lot of people miss. Really get detailed and specific about the hours of operation, the services that you offer. People search for a lot of different things. Maybe you do more than just one thing. So if there are different ways or categories of services, the nice thing about the profile as you fill it out is that Google does a pretty good job at giving you examples of all the different types of services that others in your industry, once you pick your primary category, are showing up for or may pertain to you. So pick the ones that work for you, but obviously don't pick the ones that don't. And then look at multiple locations. That may be something that can be useful, but again, dial into the regions or the areas or the cities or the counties that you serve. Those are other things that will help you appear in the right results in the right areas that you want. You don't want to appear somewhere out of state if you're not willing to make that trip. So after you fill out your basic profile, one of the things that Google will do next, if you haven't already, is you'll be asked to verify your listing. So Google has been doing this thing to where you'll verify you're legit, you're an actual business by sending you a postcard to a physical location. So if you have a storefront, that's where it'll get sent and that's where it needs to go. If you just work out of your home or you don't have a physical storefront, but you just kind of a home office, that's where you want the card to go. Google's been really trying to leverage this actual snail mail practice to try and limit and crack down on fake listings and fake businesses that it really shouldn't be present and are just creating a bad experience for people when they're searching. So that's the reason why it can take about a week or so, hopefully no more than 2 weeks, but just something to keep out an eye for. And that'll be part of what you do as you walk through creating your profile. As you're filling out your profile, one thing to keep in mind is you can also add keywords. So as you put in descriptions for what your business is, what it does, the kinds of services you want to make prominent. So you can include keywords in your description of who you are and what you do. So in keywords of meaning things like, if put yourself again in the customer shoes, a simple way to think about it is if I'm going to search for, let's just say HVAC, what are the kinds of things I might want? So someone who needs someone who can help with their HVAC system, they may search for AC repair or furnace filters, or, I mean, again, those are the kinds of words or things that people look for when they're trying to get help for what you do. These are the kinds of words and phrases you want to leverage into your profile. Add photos. So again, just like with any other profile, think about social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or others. Google business profiles work the same way, in the sense that those that have photos tend to stand out, and Google rewards you for having photos for those that don't. And so that could be, again, just images of your product or your service, or you helping at a customer's house or at their location. Whatever the case is, you want to be able to have some photos that show you and your team in action. That's just going to help enrich your profile and make you more trustworthy and help people get to know you a little bit. So that's something else to make sure you don't miss. And then lastly, key part of it is manage your reviews. And we're going to show you a couple different ways that you can do this, both automated and manually. But as reviews come in, that you're in your profile, that's where you'll be able to manage the reviews and see them and get alerted when you get reviews, whatever the rating is. You'll be able to indicate in your profile when and how you'll get notified for those. If you want more information, there's a link here just to go walk through a few more steps, give you a couple of screenshots, but I won't cover it here today, but figured I'd drop that link for you in case that's a useful resource. So again, step 2, so once you've got your profile optimized, then we get into launching your strategy. So again, these can be done manually or automated, but really key is find out what works best for you and your team. I always recommend you want to designate a champion for getting reviews. And maybe it's you, maybe you're the business owner and it's only you, or the only one that's going to be able to help get this done, or it doesn't happen at all. But be thinking about who, if on your team, could be someone else you could delegate this to and really have primary responsibility over getting more reviews and getting better in reviews. And there's a lot of ways we'll talk through today about how you can get that done. But I encourage you to be thinking of where you can pass that on and get somebody else involved in the process to really help set the culture that reviews matter, that you can get higher reviews within your team. Last part of it is I'd like to think about for your overall strategy. I'm a big fan of the review, recognize, and revise, meaning how often are you going to review the results? Is that weekly? Is that monthly? You can see and compare how many reviews do we have at the end of one month versus the next, and then recognize those that are driving reviews, whether maybe that's a service tech or someone at your front desk or someone who answers the phone, or maybe it's, again, who is it on your team that and is positioned to ask for or solicit or drive review counts. And as you decide how you can track and know who's doing it, recognize those people are doing it, so you can encourage that behavior and get everybody else on board and want to be able to follow the same and really level up their game as well. And then key part after that is revise. So if in a given month you got 5 reviews, well, what is it going to take for you to get to 10 in a month, as an example, or whatever the case is. So just another thing to be mindful of as you're launching your strategy. Again, review how the results are going in, recognize somebody in your team as they do well and do a great job, and then revise to make tweaks so you can continue to move the needle. So let's talk for a minute about some of the key reasons why people don't leave reviews. And there's really comes down to 3 big things. Either your customers, they just don't have time, or they forget, or not really sure how to do it. And so we're going to walk through some of the ways you can handle all 3 of these things, because that's usually the reason why people do it. They maybe appreciate it. I'm sure you did a great job, and they're willing to give you the 5 stars, but because they're human and there's distractions everywhere, these are the things that kind of get in the way. So let's make sure you got a plan. So first part, having the time. So one of the easiest ways, the most overlooked ways, is just to use your email signature. So on the left-hand side, you can see where this is, as an example, business's email signature. You just use a link, a hyperlink text at the bottom of it as you're communicating with your customers. Hey, by the way, rate your review, give us a review, rate your experience, tell us what you thought. So we'll show you a little bit about how to get what link to put in there. So let's talk, and then we'll show you how to get that done. Again, it makes it easy as they get your email, probably going to see it on your phone, on their phone, so they can just click from there. And then you can also set reminders so people can do it at a time that works for them. And again, that's something that can be done manually or automated. So we'll walk through how to do those. So here's an example. So if you're logging in your profile, one of the things you'll see, and this is an example for one of our clients, if you look at the business profile, there's the first step, the window that comes up as you're looking at it is the actual number of reviews. That's actually a linkable button as you're managing your own profile. When you click on that, you'll see another screen that shows you the a little bit of an overview of the reviews that you've had, and there'll be a little bit of button on the next as you click to see, get more reviews. Once you click that button, as Google wants to encourage you to do this, they will then give you this next screen, which provides you the actual link that you need. So you'll want to copy this link. If you click on these little squares here, that'll copy the link to your clipboard. That's the link you want to use and leverage. Again, this even gives you some quick buttons here to be able to email this link out to people that you want, share it on Facebook, or share it on, I guess they're integrated with WhatsApp. But if you want to just do for a simple, and keep things easy for now, I'm gonna just encourage you to copy the link that's here, and then that's the one you want to go and put within your hyperlink in your email signature or in your upcoming email campaigns. But that's at least how you find it and where you go. And if you have questions on that, shoot me a chat, drop me a link, and we'll be able to walk you through how to find that if it's not working for you. So we talk about emailing. Emailing is the next step. So you put in your email signature so people can quickly click on that link and go to where they can leave your reviews. But then also you want to remind them, well, okay, let's send some emails out to help people remember when to do it. So whether you just did the service the same day or they just bought from you, then within the first day or so, you want to send that first email out. Or if it's the kind of thing, if you're selling something where they need a week or two to try it out to really decide, did I like it or not, you may want to have your first email go out with some period of time that really gives them a chance to give you the right review that you want. So depending on what you're offering, again, be thoughtful of that. Generally speaking, it's good to have it go within the first day or so, because that's when their energy is highest and they're most excited about, well, I just spent the money on this. That's when I most likely feel convinced and want to commit myself that I made a good decision. So that's really you'll want to get your first email out. And these are just 3 examples of different emails. I think usually an email sequence of 3 is a pretty good place to start and to make sure you get enough. You can certainly go longer, but I'd say a minimum of 3 emails. First one is really all about thanking them for the purchase and thanking them for working with you, thanking them for signing up, thanking them for letting you help them and serve them. And it's also, then you give it a chance to explain why it matters. And we really appreciate you taking the time to review us. It really, as you know, reviews help businesses like ours. We'd love to be able to hear what you think. After that, we value your feedback. Those are some kind of things you can incorporate as far as text and the sentiment you might want to include in that first email. Next, your email, the second email is probably just a little bit more of a nudge. It's like, hey, I'm just writing to follow up, see if you had a chance to complete the review. If you haven't, I know you're busy. Here's the button again. Just want to make it easy for you. Click here to go. And then third, it's a little bit of a combination of the two, where it's another reminder. I hope you'll still find a moment to share your experience. Your feedback helps us improve as a business and also helps us serve other customers. And we made this quick and easy. Click this button. Again, in each one of these emails, the button or the link that you want them to click is that either the email link or it's the link from the Google reviews that we showed you before, or you can leverage a platform or a service. And we'll talk about some options there in a second. So best practice with these emails, by the way, is you want to be able to space them out, maybe 1 to 3 days apart, rather than have them all go on the same day or every single day. So give yourself a little bit of time within each one. I encourage you not to go more than 3 to 5 days between each email, because then it gets to the point where it can take a couple of weeks for these 3 emails to go out. And after that, just people get distracted. Or again, you start to the luster starts to wear off a little bit from making the purchase. So you want to be, again, timely with these different email reminders that you send out. And you can use these, you can have these emails go out either manually or use your CRM, create an automated email sequence. That's pretty easy to set up, whether you're using something like an ActiveCampaign or a Kartra or any other varieties of tools. But this is an easy sequence to build. I've got some templates I can share with you if you need, or if you have questions on them, let me know. So one of the next things just that we find that we talked about that gets in the way is it's easy, or it becomes difficult for where to leave reviews. So that one of the premium services that some of my clients use, and just as a quick side note, if you decide that you want some help to manage some of these different platforms or manage the different places in which people can leave reviews, whether that's Google, Facebook, Yellow Pages, City Search, Yelp, Insider Pages, Yahoo, there's so many different places that reviews are being captured. You can manage them all independently, or if you want to use a service, I do have some recommendations for platforms that can make that easy for you. But just be mindful of where are your customers looking, and because maybe only 1 or 2 are important for you, and that you can decide to handle that on your own. But I do have some solutions to make it easy to manage all of them in one place if you decide that's something that's useful for you. But the key is just keep an eye on those reviews as they come in, because you never know when a good or a bad one is going to show up, and the last thing you want is to have a bad review just hanging out there on a platform and it's just never seen or acknowledged or reviewed. One of the other things it can be nice about some of these other platforms that I've used, or other review management platforms that I've used is that, and some of my clients are using, is that they can include widgets like this where you can capture bad reviews before they happen. So the first response when someone clicks a link to go and leave your review, again, whether that's in your email signature or the email follow-up campaigns or a link on your website and wherever else you want to invite people to leave reviews, rather than go straight to the page where they leave a review on Google, you can introduce this intermediary step or just ask a simple question. How's your experience? Was it good or was it bad? If it was good, great. It takes them right over to leave the review. But if it was bad, because sometimes that happens for whatever reason, it then diverts them to an email page or just a form where you can capture, and it gives them the opportunity. You're inviting them to give you the feedback that gave them the reasons why they're not ready to really give you the kind of review that you want. Data actually shows that sometimes your most meaningful 5-star reviews, if there was such a thing as a 5-star plus, we think about like you get an A versus an A plus in school, you don't get a different GPA if you have an A plus, you get the same GPA as if you had an A. But so kind of similar with reviews, if you get a 5-star plus, a lot of times are actually instances where someone had a bad experience, but you turned it around. You responded to it, you made it right, you did this, that, or the other thing, and the customer was just even more elated and excited because you helped make things right when things went wacky for whatever reason. So this is actually kind of be a really good thing for two reasons. Not only does it help avoid the negative reviews from showing up in the first place, but then you can turn that feedback loop and that exchange into a 5-star plus review, if you will. Again, something that's a little tough to do manually, but something that, again, there are solutions to be able to provide this kind of intermediary step through some different review platforms. Again, I can help you connect with those if that's something that you want. You're not required, but just know that's available. So a few key things to remember as we wrap up. So again, leverage your market dominating position. So as we worked on this in the past, and there's some other content in the guides in the group where if you need some help really defining what your market dominating position is and what how you attract your ideal customer using the ideal customer magnetizer PDF that we've sent and we've also shared around. If you need copies of those, again, drop me a link or a comment, let me know. I can get those sent to you as well. Otherwise, but use that. You want to be able to have this in your profile. Your profile should tell the story. Why should someone choose you over anybody else? Why are you better than anyone else in the market? Those are it's another opportunity as you look at your Google business profile to, again, communicate that message to your audience. Start with what you can measure and add over time. Don't feel like you need to tackle everything all at once. Maybe focus on Google, and then you can start to look at other review sites. And then again, see how your reviews are going in and how they're tracking and how well your efforts are driving more reviews and getting the level that you want. Respond to each review. That's one of the other things that gets overlooked, good or bad. Google rewards that quite a bit. They like to see that you're engaged, and so do customers as well. If someone takes the time to review, people generally really appreciate feeling acknowledged and heard, no matter what it is, and that includes, and that principle applies even to when they're leaving reviews. So make sure you take the time to respond to reviews as they come in. Even if it's a 5-star and they loved it, then just thank them. Or if they brought up something in particular about their experience in review, and maybe even if they gave you a 5-star, they might even have a sentence or two hidden in there that talks about, well, I kind of wish, I'm going to give them 5 stars, but I kind of wish this or that or the other thing, or this part was a little confusing, or this didn't make sense to me. Again, if you can respond to that, that's not only going to help that person and encourage them to come back and do more business with you, but as other people see that review, they're going to understand and know the context of what you're doing and that you're looking out for them, as opposed to having that unanswered question just hang out there and not know if anyone was ever going to do anything about it. So respond to the reviews, good or bad, the ugly, whatever the case is. As people know it, at least you're able to make sure that you're present and people will see that and give more credibility to every review that comes in. So in the document, I'll upload this into the group, or if you need a copy of this PDF, again, let me know. We'll make sure you get this. But I want to give you a little bit of space in here for you to brainstorm your plan. What are you going to do next? Who is your champion and what's your time frame? So this is your chance to really think critically about some of the things that we've covered and map it out so you can take action this week and make some progress. Now, one of the next things that we've talked about, again, the easy way to be able to capture that golden link, that direct link for people to make it easy for them to leave reviews right away. That's usually one of the biggest problems. They don't know where to go, how to do it. So why don't you think critically about what are all the possible outlets where you could leverage that link, that your Google review link. That could be your email signature, put it on your website, put it in your email campaigns, whether that's a specified campaign specifically to leave reviews, or it could even be in other email campaigns that have other purposes. You might even drop that link just to invite them to do it. It could be your newsletter, or another reminder about updates or other thing, or service updates. You can still include a chance to review. What do your invoices, your receipts look like? QR codes. Could you create a QR code that when scanned, it takes people directly to that destination link, whether that's when you show up someone on site and you hand them some collateral or a piece of paper or a flyer, or if they're walking into your storefront or into your office and you have a QR code that's there, that's easy to scan, or while they're waiting in line. So there's some other places that you can leverage this one destination link and get that to where people can make it easy and more accessible for them to leave reviews. I think about your team and your staff as they're interacting with customers. Maybe as they're answering the phone, they could put a plug. Okay, can I send you a link to where? Would you mind giving us a review? I can send you a link, or I can text you. Or as they're interacting with them in person, is there a sheet or a flyer or a handout you can give someone or leave behind that can encourage someone to leave a review? Again, that'll either have the link address or a QR code, something like that as well. Business cards is another great place. Social media profiles. Again, you talk about Facebook, Instagram, all the other places that your business may be represented. It's so simple to drop that link and invite people to leave reviews. Take a little bit of an inventory in stock on where you're leaving those. And are there others in your business? Maybe there's some that I haven't captured here. This page is really just as you just identify which one's for you, and as you get them done, check the box so you know it's done. This will give you a little bit of a roadmap into how to make sure that you're getting all of the traction that you need, and these things are getting implemented, and track again results over time. So there's a couple other slides in here that just show if you want to go deeper on this, you want to be able to leverage other tools and technology to help get even more reviews. Then again, there's some resources and tools that show how that works. Again, happy to answer that. But again, you can make a lot of progress without any additional tools. But if you decide that's something you want, then let me know. And then you know how to get a hold of me. Drop me a link, or send me an email, or send me a text, or hit me up on my website. And I'd love to be able to help you get the reviews that you want. I'm excited to hear how it goes for you, and go get some reviews out there, and let's see it get some free leads coming in.